After unforgettable triumph in Daytona, the IORA Cup Series is back in action, and tonight, it's not going to be Daytona, but still high speeds and one of the biggest circuits in all of stock car racing. This is the virtual Auto Club Speedway in the 5th season of the IORA Cup Series as we return to the track for Race 2 of Season 5. Welcome back to Fontana, the second time FTN has gone to this track this week, and we're expecting once again a fantastic showcase of driver talent, as this is the Return of the Artist 150 in Fontana, California. With that being said, qualifying on the move and 3 minutes remain on the timing charts. No driver has taken a time so far, and it's going to be all eyes on one of course, our brand new race winners, Will Shack, who won at Daytona, looking to defend his first victory ever in this series, and he's going to be one of the first four to take a qualifying time. Currently finds himself 4th on the timing charts. As more drivers come through, qualifying going to get slowly but surely toward its conclusion, and already some fast times being put up, the quickest of which so far, Vincent Guecci there in the 09. He's going to be coming down the back straightaway, and as it stands, he's going to have the quickest time, a 39.609, quickest by 61 thousandths of a second. Aaron Schugel going to jump to the top of the board, and as such, Aaron takes it up with a 39.531. Expecting some very close times here in this qualifying session from top to bottom of the order. Currently, we have 19 drivers registered, with more still eligible to join. At the line, James Thurston was close, but binned his car. He's 35 thousandths back and is set to start in second if all were to go well. Antonio Mancini on the track for the first time this season. He's in the number 7 tonight, and look out for Mancini as River Page jumps up to the top of the board. It's going to be a 39.435 for River Page, as he's going to back it down and get off of the racing circuit. It's going to be Page fastest, Michael Deitch up to 14th in his first lap, now looking for a bit more, and for Deitch, it's a track he's more familiar with, and we've seen him run well at tracks like Fontana before. He'll jump up only to 13th though, so not much else is going to come from it. Devins Baker is going to be on the track in the number 14, and as Baker gets on the way, he's one of the many rookies in this session tonight, and of course, Antonio Mancini back for the first time this season, but not a rookie. Aaron Schugel is going to be, of course, one of which first full-time campaign, Devins Baker and Josh Berry. So we have rookies all throughout the field. However, right now, Baker not with a time set so far. He's coming across the front straightaway, looking to get to its first timed lap. Julian Altina of VOR also on the circuit right now, and you'll see the number 11 going up to the top side through turns 3 and 4, ripping it high and looking to get a much faster lap on the second and final lap given to every driver. 5 minutes and 2 laps. That's what these drivers are allotted in this qualifying session, so that doesn't take much longer than a minute and a half if you're going quickly. But for Julian, waiting till the time is right, getting the tires warmed up, and ripping it right up to the top here, so no room for the cushion. I think the qualifying run here for Julian is over, and you'll see, gonna spin it out as such. Julian up to 10th, however. Antonio Mancini gonna be 16th at the line. He's looking to make any final improvement here and now, and at the stripe, Mancini's going to take it from 17th up to 16th. So it's a 1-spot gain, and as such, Devins Baker's the only driver still taking a time that can affect the qualifying session. This will be the last time taken in all of qualifying tonight, and as Baker's making it through this time by, might not be able to get to the start-finish line. That's still up for grabs. He's got 20 seconds to go. It's going to be close. Baker should be able to make it at the pace he's going, coming off of turn 4. Let's see if there's any surprise from Devins Baker this time through. Coming down to the stripe, he'll drop down low, and Baker going to improve drastically. That's going to move him all the way up into 9th from 17th on the board. A buzzer beater lap for Devins Baker, and as such, qualifying has concluded. Exactly the lap that Devins Baker needed there. Of course, now time to get your starting grid on the screen. And tonight, familiar faces lead on the front row. You'll see River Page and Daniel Mosteller up in the top 3 with Aaron Schugel. Let's go through that entire starting lineup and find out who starts where here in the virtual Auto Club Speedway. Up front, it's going to be River Page with that pole position. His number 24 going to be just ahead of Daniel Mosteller, and they'll be first and second respectively. Just behind them, them, it's going to be the number 091 of Aaron Schugel, and Schugel's going to round out the podium with James Thurston sitting in position number 4. 5th place is then going to be Vincent Guecci, and Alexander Balderas will be 6th on the order tonight. It's going to be the number 95, just a bit ahead of Beaver Serrano, and Beaver going to line up right beside Henry Kaloff, 7th and 8th for the both of these drivers. Row 5 is going to be Devins Baker and Xander McKinney, 9th and 10th respectively. Baker is going to be the final driver in the single digits. Xander McKinney rounds out the top 10. Then from there, you're going to see in the 11th spot Julian Altena and Brandon Dugan. Julian making his first start of the season, whereas Brandon Dugan in number 55 returning, as we saw him last season as well. Braxton Whitaker is going to be in 13th, and Will Shack is position number 14 outside of row 7, and it's going to be 15th. Michael Deitch with Casey Bentz's number 36 in the 16th spot. 17th is then there going to be Antonio Mancini, his first start of the year, and Corey Lyles is going to be in 18th with Josh Berry, the 19th and final driver on the order. He's going to be inside of row 10, and as such, we're just about ready. Daniel Mosteller's Flopomobile going to be on the screen right now, the sole focus, and you can see that Ford Mustang and its paint scheme, a little bit of an abrasive texture. The matte black is going to be a little tough to decipher with the contrast here in Fontana. The night lights are on, no sunset here, and track conditions are going to be very, very mild. As it stands, it's going to be a track temperature of 65 degrees Fahrenheit, air temperature of 64. Wind is southwest bound at 4 miles an hour, and very little humidity as it's partly cloudy skies here in California, and the drivers are back on their way. As pacing gets on the move, River Page with a chance to lead early. Now, he's a driver last season that wasn't quite on the level of Sean Conklin or Daniel Mosteller, but all the same, definitely had what it took to win a race or two. Now, wasn't able to become that dominant driver as the season went on. However, he did get the checkered flag at Martinsville late in the campaign, which propelled him to a string of very solid runs. Now the chance for Page to develop as a championship contender, it's here tonight. For a lot of drivers, the season really starts here at Daytona. For our championship contenders last season, they finished first and second respectively at Daytona, much like they did in the overall standings. However, Will Shack, the driver, not well known by this field just yet. The veterans, of course, would like to have their piece of the pie. And it looks like tonight they might be able to come in contact with exactly what they need. The iRacing official pace car is going to drop in this time by 75 laps of hard-fought racing here from the Auto Club Speedway. And best of all, under the lights in California. Dropping in this time through, the pace car takes the hard left turn. River Page and Daniel Mosteller set to be in control. And Barney the Flagman going to wave the green flag this time by. And we're set to let loose here in California. Green flags out from Auto Club already. It's 2x2 up in front. And trouble already. Caution's going to fly at the end of lap 1. Casey Bentz, Aaron Schugel, Brandon Dugan, they're involved. Yellow flag is out. So we got trouble coming off of turn 4, and we are under yellow. Let's take a look back and find out what caused it here, as early troubles in Fontana give way to the yellow flag at the end of lap 1. Here's an instant replay. We'll look right back and find out what happened here. We saw Dugan in the mix in the number 55. Aaron Schugel backed up, made contact, wiggled, and came down. That collected Casey Bentz as well. Devins Baker, he went all the way through the grass here and just barely kept it in control. That could have been so much worse. He backed it down, but for Schugel, Dugan, and Casey Bentz, it was exactly what they didn't need and didn't want. Minor contact overall for the drivers afflicted, but track position, which is going to be important tonight, very much so, they're going to lose it, and they're going to lose it in spades. So the yellow flag, it is out for the first time tonight, and here we go again. James Thurston going to be dropping down and in. River Page is going to be staying out. Thurston cuts through the grass, and it looks like that's a fake out to the extreme. James Thurston, not quite sure what the deal was there. He chose to go all the way down and make it back up on the track, and as such, yellow flag still out. It looks like Thurston not going to go in, but a few of the drivers in the back of the field, they will. There's Casey Bentz alongside Alexander Balderas, Aaron Schugel, Corey Lyles, and then Brandon Dugan, all coming in together here. So it's the final 5 in the field, making it down to pit road early and looking to get some service. Now, for the drivers afflicted in that incident, they're not going to lose all too much time. However, I think it's the biggest gamble for Alexander Balderas and Brandon Dugan, respectively. They're getting off pit road right now, but Balderas giving up what was a comfortable top 10 starting position, and now dropping to the tail of the field effectively. That being said, we'll see whether or not that's an effective strategy. It looks like right now Balderas on the move again in 15th, so he's looking to get by Casey Bentz quickly and get through the rest of his contemporaries to get back up in front. 18 drivers took to the green flag. Josh Berry not able to do so, and the rest of the drivers get back on the way as we are set to go green flag racing at the end of lap number 5. The night sky here in Fontana, California, it's all the night lights, no natural light here tonight, and it's cool temperatures in California in the mid-60s, just about the best racing conditions one could ask for. Going to be a lot of grip on the track, be it, of course, from the track temperature. Of course, these guys are on new rubber, and at the same time, not been laid down just yet in terms of high-speed laps. Early caution, so it's almost going to be a refresh of the very first start. Thurston and Page are still together. Daniel Mosteller going to be there, but James Thurston, as we mentioned, he got further up on this restart, whereas the rest of his contemporaries, they lost time and lost position. Thurston, jumping up from 4th to 1st quickly, is going to find himself the race leader, and then from there, River Page is going to be in 2nd. 3rd spot, it's going to be then Henry Kaloff, as Kaloff decides to go up high, and he'll be scored, technically speaking, in 3rd here. Daniel Osteller goes down to 4th. Choose rule going to be a big deal. River's going to go up top. James Thurston opts to go just to his inside and take it down to the bottom. So already, differences in strategies, and we'll see how it all plays out as we are set to hit the green flag once again, and we will be returning to racing in Auto Club. Corey Lyle's getting with the field here. He'll go down to the bottom, and it looks like he's going to drop to the apron intentionally, going slower and slower, puttering with the field, but it doesn't look like he's going to park it, so he'll get back with the leading pack immediately. Alexander Balderas is going to be up top there in 15th. Antonio Mancini just ahead, and if you look further up, there's drivers like Michael Deitch, Braxton Whitaker, Devins Baker, Julian Altena, and Beaver Serrano all together. Then you go up to the leading 7 here. Will Shack on up, and it's James Thurston who got up from 4th to 1st in just one lap of racing. He's got control, and he hopes to use it. Coming through this time by, it's going to be Thurston up in front. He's got command, and here we go once again. iRacing official pace car will drop in, and Thurston's going to have all the opportunity as he heads through the Geico restart zone. He'll start late, and he'll get the jump. Green flags out for the first restart of the night. Back on the move here from Auto Club. Thurston's got the edge. Coming down the back straightaway, James Thurston hauling, and he's going to be making moves very, very quick. In addition, you're also going to see it's River Page, not to mention Daniel Mosteller, and they're all coming through this time by, looking to put the power down to catch right back up to Thurston. Doesn't look like they have anything for him so far. Dropping down low, River's going to keep it on the bottom side. Thurston wiggles top, and Henry Kaloff now looking to put himself in the mix. He'll go down low, and it's nearly 4 wide there as they're using all different lines. Rivers seems to be the advantageous one, and he'll take him down the back straightaway. This time by with the lead again. James Thurston's going to drop back big. He's down to 8th, as a matter of fact, hobbling down the backstretch, and you'll see the troubles continue for the man in that 96 Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsport Ford Mustang. Now going to be there with Devins Baker, not to mention Will Shack and Julian Altona, all coming together as they go 2 by 2 at the line. Mosteller goes through the apron once again, and that's a viable room for racing at this circuit. You can take it as low as you'd like. And right now, it looks like it's going to be Mosteller taking it to the race lead. To the point, it's Demos up in front, and Henry Kaloff then in second. 1-2 running right now for the 87 and 24. Demos blocking big there on Kaloff, and Henry has speed. And for the first time tonight, he looks to be the clearly quicker driver in this trio. Now, riding on board with Henry Kaloff, you'll see exactly what he's getting up to here, and taking a look on board with the number 63 as he is on a rush up to the front. 193 miles an hour, nearly getting up to 195. There he does, tips into 196 territory before lunging in, and he's looking for the race lead. You'll see how he gets to a low of about 167 miles an hour, then gets going once again. Demo still to his outside right there. Take a look at the 87. The Flopomobile will not quit, and as such, Kaloff gonna stay right there with it, lunging deep once again, and as he goes through, Mosteller has no choice but to back off, and Henry Kaloff, now clear, has that race lead. Mosteller though with a charge, and he's still looking to make it right back up. Demos going to be able to take the lead briefly, but it's going to be a pass from Henry Kaloff that settles the score, and as such, Kaloff up in front for the first time tonight. It's the best he's looked in this event so far. 9 laps in at a 75. It looks like Balderas and the gamble for tire worked out so far. Alexander Balderas finds himself on the back end of the lead pack with Julian Altona. However, we've seen in previous races here at Auto Club, a 3-lap difference might not be all too major. However, something in the range of a 10-15 lap difference can make all the difference. Earlier this week on Monday night, we went to Fontana with the Integrity Ignite Series, and it all came down to that tire strategy till the very end. Drivers such as Blake Gordon were able to make it through by waiting 20-odd laps, going down to pit road after the first cycle, and keeping themselves up there for a much longer time afterward. So Balderas going to emulate that strategy in the early going. However, not necessarily as effective right now, as Mosteller dives down to the bottom side. He is going to see the defense from Henry Kaloff at its extreme. How about that? The distance between those two, and it looks like now it's even closer. They're going to be coming down through the front straightaway all together yet again. Mosteller up top, Kaloff way down low, and using the apron to try to hang on. Just not enough to give in. And it looks like they both won't give up. Now you'll also see Vincent Guecci coming into the picture, and Vinny looking quick in practice, and it looks like he's once again up on the top of the charts, and you can see him taking it down to the outside line. He keeps it there, and Henry Kaloff goes all over the place. The way these drivers are defending is getting very, very risky, and they're setting it tooth and nail through every turn. Mosteller going to be able to send it deep, try to keep it there with them, quarter panel to quarter panel, but nothing comes of it. No contact, no pass. Henry Kaloff still has the spot. Look at the way these drivers are going through the corners now, lunging at each and every one. They're relying heavily on the grit that they have, and it looks like right now that grit coming into play as Guecci and Mosteller make contact. Demos going to fade back as a result, and you can see him slowly but surely push further out of the frame, and now the second bundle is coming up. River Page, Julian Altona, James Thurston, and even Alexander Balderas about a second back of Demos. They're all making time and looking to take that spot away. As it stands, you can see it's going to be 2 by 2 with Altona and Thurston. James Thurston getting closer and closer to making the pass here, but you just can't do it with yourself on the top side. It looks like he's going to be lonely up high, and there might be a little bit of room to go now. Kaloff takes it to the bottom, while Vincent Guecci and Demos take it up top, and everyone now in hot pursuit of that number 63. Nobody finding a way around Kaloff just yet, and it looks like right now, in the early stages at least, he's the driver to beat in this race. Looking further back, Balderas getting up to River Page here. Number 95 going to be on the top side, looking high once again. Now going to swap down low, and at the apron trying to make it 3 wide with Julian and River. Just can't get there. However, it's the closest he's been, and all of a sudden, it's going to be Balderas now in real contention for a top 5 spot. Looking on board with the number 95, you'll see exactly what he's getting up to here, and you can see the handwork, the jitter back and forth. Got to make sure you have the perfect steering angle all the way through. Every minor imperfection can make a difference. You got to be handling the car quite well no matter where you are on the track. Using the middle groove right now up on about the second seam and coming a bit further high as he goes through the final corners. River's going to be holding himself lower. Julian is going to be holding himself higher as the caution flies again. Yellow flag for the second time today. The reason being Beaver Serrano is destroyed. And I think his night might not be done, but he's in huge jeopardy as he takes it down a pit road and tows immediately. The Fastenal 66 gets destroyed quickly, and he's going to apologize to whoever else was involved. It looks like presumably Corey Lyles here, and you see Beaver Serrano going to be up on the higher side as he slowly drifts. He goes up, and they both get pounded. Now, Lyles was able to drive through, but Beaver Serrano, not so much, and he ended up going up top, giving no room to Lyles, and as such, yellow flag is out. Corey Lyles is going to have some front-end damage. Beaver's going to be on pit road, and just like that, the yellow flag flies. Big trouble for Beaver, and the field still on its way. 15 laps in at a 75, and we are once again under pacing. Drivers dropping down and in this time through pit road is going to be active tonight, and it starts off early. Daniel Mosteller leads the first bundle down and in. It's going to be Demos, Guecci, Kaloff, and company all coming through, and it looks like almost every driver in the field, yes, every one of them, is in pit road now. Demos going to be the first of which to make it through. Beaver Serrano, of course, is going to be there with his destroyed number 66, but the rest of the field comes in for service, and there's Mosteller making it in. He's going to have not the pole position stall. That's going to be the honor of River Page, and the 24 comes in a bit later. Daniel Mosteller wants to beat everyone out here, though, so he's going to try to get back on the way. Goodyear rubber being put on, 4 tires and fuel, and it looks like as he gets off the jacks, it's going to be Kaloff who beats him out. Henry Kaloff, then Vincent Guecci, James Thurston third, and River Page fourth. Xander McKinney jumps up high and moves into fifth, and as such, pit road going to be much emptier now as the leaders of the field get back on the move. Early going, and you can see there, Henry Kaloff once again finds a way. He's going to be your race leader with Vincent Guecci then second, James Thurston third, and River Page fourth. And you look further back outside of Xander McKinney, who's in fifth. Balderas back up to his qualifying spot. Aaron Schugel going to be then in seventh. Eighth is going to be Casey Bentz, and Corey Lyles is there in ninth. Final man of the top 10, that's Braxton Whitaker, and he holds his own 16 laps in, finding the number 51 within the top 10. Henry Kaloff, with 1 lap to green, is your race leader, and we'll have our second restart at lap 18. Choose rule going to be in effect. Kaloff goes high, Guecci goes low, and Thurston opts to go with your race leader. So a few changes being made quickly here. River Page down at the bottom side. He'll bring Alexander Balderas right there with him, and Xander McKinney opts to go up top, looking to make up 1 position on the high side, but it looks like he'll still be there in the 3rd row. Big move, though, for Balderas to stay right behind River Page. We've seen these two drivers work together, not to mention James Thurston up top with Henry Kaloff. And they're going to be 3rd, 1st, respectively, as James Thurston going to be up on the high side looking to fight for the podium. Kaloff, who came into this one your leader, comes out on top still. Now time to find out who's got what it takes as we come through the back straightaway. iRacing official pace car going to leave us, and it'll be lap 18 as Mosteller, Julian Altena come right through, both of which just got off of pit road. So Demos, he got back onto the track, and he's once again with the pack. Same goes for Julian, although just a bit later here as the number 11 gets back on the track a little after the fact. And you can see there's Brandon Dugan, who's nearly one lap down, still has to get up with the pack here as they're going through 3 and 4. We're set to restart in less than 20 seconds. Pace car going to go down through pit road again. First pit cycle of the day is already done, and it's going to be Henry Kaloff on the top of the board with Vincent Guecci, runner-up spot. Who's going to get the jump? That's the big question here. Kaloff is the control car, and the green flag is going to fly with the 63 holding the field through the Geico restart zone. Kaloff gets the jump. That's restart number 2 of the day. Green flag flies again, and it's the 63 on top for now. James Thurston going to be defending 3 lanes at once. He drops down with a quick wiggle and goes down to the apron. He's in the grass, washes up high, keeps it together, and somehow still has the lead after he goes through turn 4. Going to lose a lot of speed, and there'll be a 3-wide battle for the race lead. At the line, Kaloff bobbling back and forth. He'll send River down to the apron himself. River Page going to be able to recollect that number 24, but now they're rubbing each other back and forth. Kaloff in the middle has the advantage in momentum. Thurston goes up top. Not sure what he's got left as he'll fade a bit further back. Alexander Balderas and Vincent Guecci also looking closer and closer. You'll see River Page going to try to drop down. Kaloff does it first, and James Thurston stays up high looking to keep his position. He might have been knocked around just a bit, but he's not done. Caution is out once again, and it's Antonio Mancini who looked to be alone as the yellow flag flew. The number 7's going to spin, and the caution is out. Let's take a look back and find out what caused it. Looks like Mancini alone, the driver involved in this one. No other signs of drivers being involved in this wreck. So take a look back with the number 7 of Mancini. Devin Baker right there, squished 3 wide middle going into the corner, and it looks like Mancini knocks into Mosteller, hits Mosteller. Demos comes back up the track, and that's why it was one driver involved. Mosteller is going to take Mancini right out. And as such, yellow flag flies. We'll take a look on board with Daniel Mosteller there, although I'm almost certain there was some intent to that one, the way he came right back up the track. One more time now. This is from inside the cockpit of Daniel Mosteller. And taking a look with the 87 here, you'll see Mosteller coming down the stretch. He gets hit by Mancini, and of course he didn't expect this to happen at all. They were going 3 wide straight. He comes up, and while it looked like the wheels were going right, of course, steering wheel was left. That's a tricky call. Yellow flags out, and Daniel Mosteller absolutely hooks Mancini, and a caution will fly. As such, we are back under pacing for the 2nd time today, and the quick yellow brings us back to the caution cycle. It's going to be Daniel Mosteller, Casey Bentz, Julian Altena, and Brandon Dugan coming in together. Leader is still Kaloff. Guecci's now 2nd, and it's going to be Alexander Balderas up there in the fight for the podium now, as the podium indeed reshuffled at the top of your screen. Here in Fontana, things are getting a bit antsier as we approach the 2nd portion of this race. First 25 laps are almost all said and done. We're at lap 22 right now, and when we go back to green, it'll be lap number 24. So it's going to be Kaloff, Page, Guecci set to go through and be the leaders of this restart. A few drivers went down to pit road, and those include James Thurston, Casey Bentz, Daniel Mosteller, and the aforementioned Octane and Dugan. Now it looks like Demo is going to be held up a little bit longer on pit road, so we'll see why that's the case, as he's going to stay on the track, of course, with a little bit of damage perhaps. He stays on pit road. Beaver Serrano going to be in 13th after a 2-minute pit stop. He gets back on the lead lap despite the early troubles. And now, time to look forward to what is next. Henry Kaloff looking quick so far tonight. He led as it stands. Let's find out exactly how many he's led, and let's not play the game. He's had 10 laps led of 21, so he's led the most laps so far tonight, and he's gained pretty big ever since the start. Came up from 8th on the board, and as such, he's going to be the leading driver coming through this time by. He's been on his tire stint for about 5 laps, so he does have experience so far, but not too much on this run, and the tires are not nearly warmed up just yet, so should be enough life in them to get till about lap number 40. Kaloff going to be the leader as the drivers choose once again. The choose rule is going to give Kaloff full control of where he would like to go. top or bottom, and Kaloff is going to choose to roll down to the bottom side. Henry Kaloff right down low, and as such, it's going to be River Page who opts to go up top. So we've got our first call made on the restart. Kaloff goes down to the bottom. Balderas is due to follow. Xander McKinney looks to be up top as well. One driver who's going to gain big. Corey Lyles jumps up from 7th to 5th on that cycle due to the choose rule, and as such, now within the top 5. Braxton Whitaker goes from 8th up to 6th. Aaron Schugel is going to be actually a driver who's, technically speaking, loses just a bit, but only one spot here as he chooses to go on the high side. Driver's choice there, and it looks like only one driver going to be disconnected. That's going to be River Page. Brandon Dugan going to be given an end-of-line penalty for missing the choose cone. Of course, not with the field as it occurred, so he'll be starting in the back regardless, and he'll give up one position to Daniel Mosteller. You can see the 87 here, hoping to get back with the field, but still 15 seconds away as we're set to go green this time by. Going through turns 3 and 4, starting to set up for the final stretch. And it's going to be lap number 23 of 75. Mosteller might not be able to get with the field here. It's going to be a close call. He's about 8 seconds away. He might be able to just barely stay with them. And you can see him now in the frame. He just entered turn 3 as the field is set to exit turn 4. The pace car is going to drop in. Mosteller's still 4 seconds away. He's gaining, and Kaloff is going to be your race leader this time through. Time to get back in motion. Mosteller joins the party, and Henry Kaloff leads the field. Green flag and a fly once again. Back on the move with Kaloff and Guecci your front row. Top 3 gets away nicely. You're going to see Alexander Balderas now running on the back bumper of Henry Kaloff. And Balderas, one of the drivers who slowly but surely made some moves up so far and looking to be one of the drivers hoping to gain big. He just took the race lead, making a pass right there nicely on Kaloff, but he's defending already. And you can see how he's going to be very risky in the nature of his defense. That's going to cost him 2 spots immediately. Had the lead, tries to fight for it again, and he drops back quick. So now Balderas can have to regroup all over again and get settled in for what's next. Although he's still got a lot of time to get himself back in order. Not the best move to make, and Henry Kaloff is going to fade back as well. That'll give third to Xander McKinney, and as such, it's going to be the number 40 looking down the backstretch in the podium, and the green machines run second and third. Kaloff goes down to the bottom side. He's trying to look for something. Might be able to get back on McKinney as Alexander Balderas looks again on Vincent Guecci. Vinny going to try to block him low, just can't get there, and it looks like there's no use in trying. Alexander Balderas at the line, side by side, and now set to take the race lead with an ounce of contact. He'll drop down and in and take the top spots. The Spotify number 95 takes the race lead tonight, and for the first time, Balderas up in front this season, a driver who we've seen quickly grow in terms of speed at these bigger tracks. One of the drivers that really benefits from the full-on high-speed nature of a circuit like Auto Club Speedway. And right now, it's definitely proving to play into his strengths. He's going to lead the way over Corey Lyles, and now it looks like Lyles is another driver making a big charge. Down to the bottom side, Balderas due to defend. It looks like it's going to be Lyles still taking it low and hoping to slide deep into turn 1. Maybe there's a shot here. He'll take it down to the bottom side, making it 3 wide, but it's now side by side as Lyles comes up the track, nearly takes the quarter panel of Balderas, and it's going to be Alexander Balderas once again defending up high instead. Xander McKinney now going to try to look for the race lead as well. Vincent Guecci takes it deep, and it looks like a little bit of rattling the cage of the number 95. That helps out Vinny, and as such, Guecci's got the race lead again. Bobbling up, Balderas gets close, but still no big trouble. At the line once again, the leaders are going to stay the same and keep each other very close, wrapped under a blanket. As it stands, it's Balderas and Guecci, the drivers who hold forts. Now it's going to be Xander McKinney also in there. He runs currently in third, and as it stands, hoping to make up just a bit more time. There's Henry Caloff, Devins Baker, and all the company that comes through. Mancini going to spin again. The call is not for a yellow. However, he's going to go around entirely, and as such, questions regarding the rest of his race here. Antonio Mancini does not get the caution he wanted, and we stay green as you saw him spin down the backstretch. Luckily, nobody else severely afflicted, but not good news at all as you'll take a look back one more time, and here is what happened. It's Antonio Mancini in the number 7 right here, and this is where the trouble begins. Caught up with Julian Altina, and as such, gonna spin around, and the yellow flag flies immediately thereafter. Caution not gonna fly though for Mancini, and as such, he'll have a lot of trouble for the rest of the night. Vincent Guecci, your race leader. Alexander Balderas there in second, and third still a fight between the number 40 machine of Xander McKinney and the 56 of Lyles, keeping each other honest here, and at the same time, take a look down low. There goes Balderas again, trying to swoop to the low side and look for the race lead. Balderas down at the bottom, looking low on the Spotify machine. He's got a Vincent Guecci right up top. 29 laps in, going on to 75 total. It looks like now these drivers getting into that rhythm, and a few more coming with them. You see, it's going to be Henry Caloff fighting with Devins Baker here. Baker going to be looking for the 5th position if he can get by that number 63. Not going to be easy though, and as it stands, both drivers still fighting tooth and nail. Side by side, right alongside Baker. You also see James Thurston there, and now this second grouping slowly but surely catching up to the leaders here. 30 laps in at a 75. Balderas goes right up top and maintains his position. He has not given in the slightest. As it stands, all drivers trying to keep it close up in front, not as aggressive in the second pack on back. You see Michael Deitch, Will Shack, Braxton Whitaker and company. They're holding fort, but not really going for anything crazy right now. Gonna play a more meticulous practice and wait for the race to keep on going. Balderas with the lead, Corey Lyles there in second, and as it stands, Guecci gonna be third, coming across the line this time through. Here they go again. The number 95 looking very solid right now, and especially so leading another lap as we move on to number 31. Battle between Will Shack and company right now. You see that number 31 racing alongside Michael Deitch. Deitch going to be up to the top side, whereas Braxton Whitaker remains a row behind. It looks like one driver going to be flicked off quickly. That's Devins Baker. Caution going to fly for Baker here. No damage, but he'll slide off the lead pack, and the caution is out. Devins Baker going to give way to our first yellow flag tonight. Caution flies, or first yellow in his stint, shall we say. Here we go again. Here's a look with Devins Baker in the number 14 as he's set to get back at it. Of course, not major damage, but still flying right off the exit of 2. Aaron Schugel gonna maybe make some quarter panel contact, and that it was. Now he gets sent deeply and almost hits the barrier there. Luckily, it's a safer barrier. No contact either way. Devins Baker is good to go. Now, for those of you watching IORA right now, coverage of the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series has started on FTN, and we've just kicked off exciting coverage from Sin City, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Road to Pro on FTN is back for the 2nd year, and an incredible crew comprising of Kenneth Bueno, Terry Radford, Daniel Fockingham covering tonight's race. Be sure to tune in there if you're interested in the Road to Pro Racing. We'd love to have you watching RTP on FTN, an official eNASCAR sanctioned series where drivers are set to qualify for the biggest prize pool in all of sim racing. Nearly 500,000 drivers allotted to the 40 best in the Coca-Cola iRacing series. The journey to get there, it's only just begun. Balderas now going to drop into pit road. He's going to wiggle big, and Corey Lyles has to separate quickly. Luckily, no big trouble for those drivers there as we get going down the front stretch. Balderas, Casey Bentz is going to take the lead, and it's going to be another big pit cycle. Company coming through. There's McKinney, Aaron Schugel, Michael Deitch, and Will Shack. Now time to find out who gets off best. There's Deitch, who nearly made contact with Shaq, and Whitaker also right there too. Braxton gonna miss his pit stall. Julian Altona looking for big damage repair. And now as they come across the line, time to find out who's gonna get through and win off pit road. Casey Bence is your race leader, but it looks like it's gonna be Braxton Whitaker with the advantage. He'll gain big. Balderas is then gonna be in third, with Vincent Guecci fourth. Fifth is Henry Kaloff, and sixth is then Brandon Dugan. Big changes up in front, and for the first time tonight, Casey Bence is your race leader. As such, going to be Bence up in front, taking a look at that number 36, getting prepared for the long haul here. One of the drivers that we saw last season, now looking for a full-time campaign for the first time in his IORA career. Best run that this driver had in IORA came at Pocono last season, leading with less than 10 laps to go, trying to play the alternate strategy, but just a few laps shy of making it on fuel and had to go down to pit road. So for Casey Bence, there's a lot on the line to prove that this is a crew that can get victories. He knows for certain that he can, shown the pace before, and now it's all about whether or not he can show it once again. Coming through this time by 33 laps in at a 75, we are preparing to go at it all over again with Bence in control. Where will Casey choose to go? That's the question. It looks like for Casey Bence, up top is the answer, and it's going to be Braxton and Alexander Balderas both going down at once. Whitaker went down a bit later, so we'll see if anyone is going to get flagged here with an end-of-line penalty. It looks like no penalties immediately received. And for the drivers further on back, that remains to be the case. 34 laps in, out of 75. Here we go again. It's going to be Whitaker on the bottom side. Casey Bence, your control car right up top. And we're going to be rolling once more. 34 laps in at a 75. When we get green, it'll be lap number 35 for restart number 3. So far, we've seen our fair share of good stints of racing, but been broken up all throughout. Now's the time to figure out, can we get back into the rhythm and make it all happen the best it can? Of course, looking for a long green flag run. Casey Bence is the big wild card tonight, with the oldest set of tires in this entire field, 13 laps of which the age is already evident for this number 36. Braxton Whitaker going to be in second, Alexander Balderas is going to be there in third, and Henry Kaloff is in the fourth spot. Guecci going to be fifth, Aaron Schugel is going to be in sixth, Sander McKinney then seventh. Here we go again with Whitaker at the top of the board on the bottom side. It's still Casey Bence who will lead this restart and dictate what happens as we get going once more. Green flag is set to fly. It's going to be Casey Bence and Braxton Whitaker throwing the green flag out. Bence gets a nice jump, and we're back on the way here from Fontana. Early jump there, you're going to see Casey Bence still trying to defend, so it does not look like Bence is going to give in quite easy. Despite the older tires, that track position, it is make or break, and it's crucial to have that advantage if you're the driver at the front of the field. Bence right now going to be fending off Alexander Balderas. You'll see he's getting closer and closer, and now Balderas in striking distance. The 95 goes down to the inside groove and looking to take the top spot on the board once again. Balderas right down low. In addition, Vincent Guecci now going to be looking to the middle, and while Casey Bence held off immediately, it doesn't look like the long-term impact is going to be any good for this crew, as it's going to be Bence now sliding back on the high side. Guecci going to leave just enough room to stay there, and that's all that it's going to be given to Casey Bence. Casey stays high, Henry Kaloff goes right down low, and you can see in the middle of it all, there's more drivers coming through. How about riding on board with Sander McKinney? You're going to see Bence up top, Henry Kaloff still fighting here with that number 09 of Vincent Guecci. 1, 2, 3 breaking away. Aaron Schugel now in the mix as well, and all these drivers coming up in the heat of the moment, fighting for what they can take at at the very midpoint of this race. Halfway through, 37 laps in, 37 laps to go, and the first half of this race has been nothing short of exciting, with Alexander Balderas perhaps en route to his very first IORA Cup Series victory. Would be a monumentous win for a driver who's been in this league since its very first season and has competed ever since late 2021, and he's still chasing that first opportunity to get the checkered flag for himself. At the line, Balderas is going to remain the leader again, and with 38 laps on the board, he's got it there 0.3 of a second further back. It's Vincent Guecci, and in addition, you got Henry Kaloff and Aaron Schugel remaining closer and closer. Lap after lap, they tighten up even more. And right now, it looks like Balderas is starting to break away a bit more. The closest battle on the racing circuit is further back with Braxton Whitaker and River Page. Down to the bottom side, River Page is going to go. Even though Braxton Whitaker has that high side, looks to be slipping away, it's all about that momentum here. Watch as the number 51 gets the speed off the high side of the corner, uses that draft, and stays with Devins Baker here. Gonna not make a move on Devins, at least for now. Stays in tow, and is gonna look for an opportunity. Backing off once again. Looks like a bit of an unsteady car here for Baker, and rather for Braxton Whitaker even more so. River Page going to drift up high, and as River gets going once again, Braxton decides to fade back and give a little more room to both of the drivers as Page on the top side gives way to Devins Baker. Another spot taken for Baker, and as such, it's going to be Devins running there in 11th. Another quick move made as Corey Lyles is then in 10th, Casey Bentz is in 9th, and Beaver Serrano is going to be in the 8th spot with Michael Deitch 7th, James Thurston 6th, Xander McKinney, the final driver in the Big Five. And you take a look at the battle, they're 3 wide for the race lead once again. Kaloff gives quick. Now it's going to be Guecci and Balderas going at it once more. And as Alexander Balderas gets up to the top side, he's beginning to use those tires even more and more as he tries to defend off every driver. He's led a majority of these laps in this stint in particular. However, there's so much more pressure with 4 drivers fighting you rather than just one. And now with every man in the mix, Balderas has to think of how to utilize every line efficiently and effectively, which is so much more challenging when you have the entire field fighting you there. And you can see Balderas right back up top, Vincent Guecci going to be in the low zone, and Aaron Schugel going to be there in 3rd, Henry Kaloff then 4th, and Xander McKinney in 5th. It's a 5-car bundle. They're separate by only 0.4 of a second, and at the line it's going to be Alexander Balderas hoping to lead once again. As once more, if you're interested in NASCAR Road to Pro coverage, just started on FTN, and Sean Conklin is the current race leader. Conklin, your defending IORA Cup Series champion, still racing on FTN, but not racing IORA tonight as you're watching right now. He's up there racing at the front of the field in Road to Pro. Balderas leads, Guecci in 2nd, Aaron Schugel in 3rd, and Xander McKinney in 4th. 42 laps in at a 75, and the going slowly but surely getting a little tougher for these drivers to keep on. Balderas might be pulling away with a bit of an advantage. We'll see if that's something to keep an eye out for long term, or if it's just a fleeting glimpse. Might just be a brief edge for the time being. As it stands, it's going to be Balderas and Guecci. They are the class of the field. Schugel and Kaloff, McKinney too, students of the game, and they'll stay right behind. How about Michael Deitch in 7th? We mentioned how good he was at tracks like Fontana and Michigan, and it looks like in the long term it's starting to show once again. Deitch is pulling back up to the leaders. He's been quicker that time by than Vincent Guecci, Henry Kaloff, Xander McKinney, and James Thurston. It is unbelievable how close Michael Deitch is getting in these laps, given the fact he's racing on controller tonight. Take a look on board with Deitch, and you'll see, even though he doesn't have a steering wheel, he is doing quite well and making up time more and more as number 17 continues to make do. As it stands, Deitch going to be at the top of the charts, at least when it comes to being in the top 10, and slowly trying to make it further up. Right on board here with Deitch and see how he's working it despite the fact he's on only a controller. And if you thought the movements for a driver on the steering wheels in this circuit is a small movement, you gotta look closely at how little Michael Deitch has room to wiggle the car. He's gotta be just about perfect every lap to be even as quick as he is right now. Being on the wheel in iRacing is such an advantage because it is a given for most of these drivers. However, for Deitch, a driver who's dedicated to getting on the sim, even if he doesn't have the steering wheel with him at all times, he's made do with that controller, and he's made it quite impressive to watch, continuing to stay with the front of the field as Balderas and company are still battling for the lead. 45 laps to go. This time by Alexander Balderas still up in front. He's got Vincent Guecci right there with them, and it looks like now side by side between Henry Kaloff and Aaron Schugel. And Kaloff going to have to back off again. Lunges, though, into turns 3 and 4, maybe trying to look for some room early as he foresees a potential passing opportunity. Doesn't quite look like he's got it there so far. However, Kaloff is close and might look for something as the night progresses. Henry Kaloff going to stay right there, maybe going to make it a 3 wide again, but Vincent Guecci gets away, and it's those runs which are oh so critical, and you can see the 213 Simware machine rushing down the back straightaway. He's currently going to find himself looking low through 3 and 4 just about every time by, trying to find any advantage here, and it looks like it's just not going to work out to this point. Going to be all about waiting game here for Henry Kaloff, and since we're getting into this longer stint, you can see there Balderas going to come right up the track. He puts big time on Guecci, and that's about as close as it can get yet again. Guecci's going to try to find room, but every time Balderas, one of the more aggressive drivers in this field, continuing to make those risky blocks. And they're coming up on a risk in itself. Antonio Mancini going to be right ahead of the leaders here. Now the question is, what are they going to do with this lap machine on the track here? As they go through the corner, they're substantially quicker. Balderas going to go down to the bottom side. Mancini lets him by quite easily, so no trouble there, and it looks like the leaders all get through. 1, 2, 3, 4, and later on, you'll see James Thurston running in 5th. So, as such, a battle brewing. Michael Deitch, Beaver Serrano, Corey Lyles. And with all these drivers together, it looks like a true second cluster is beginning to form. As it stands, Michael Deitch going to take it right up to the top side. He's looking for something there, but just hasn't found it yet. Corey Lyles is going to see, though, that Michael Deitch found the wall and look for a pass. Gets blocked on the high side. Now looks even further up, though, and has room to wiggle by Mancini. However, too slow as he course goes by the lapper and has to way back once again. One driver in trouble is River Page, and we saw some trouble previously from him. Looks like he's involved in it once again. Here's an instant replay, and we'll show you what caused it. Here's going down a pit road. However, there was an incident that gave way to this. It looks like he was running on his own at the time of the incident, and it might have been a single car thing. So with that being said, River Page out on his own, found trouble, and the yellow flag not going to fly as we look back live. Casey Bentz comes down a pit road. That's going to be the first green flag pit stop we have all night long. And now, the strategy game being played by drivers up ahead. Alexander Balderas has been the odds-on best driver all night long. Vincent Guecci there in second, Aaron Schugel in third, Henry Kaloff in fourth, and it looks like for Balderas, he's really pulled himself together tonight and has given us, of course, the leader pack a show. He's had to, of course, defend every driver here, and he's been holding off Vincent Guecci quite long. However, he's given everyone a show as he knows how much he's been waiting for such an opportunity, looking for that first ever IORA win, and Balderas now getting closer and closer. James Thurston, though, getting closer to making it by not one but two drivers, and now putting a surge on with Kaloff and Aaron Schugel. Looks like now Thurston going to go right up to the top side of the track, looking to take it all the way as high as he possibly can. Just can't find the room to this point. As it stands, it's going to be a one-spot gain, maybe going for two at the line. That he does. Thurston up to third, and now with a half-second of gain on Alexander Balderas. The question is, can he do exactly what he must to get the race lead before the pit cycle? Now it looks like there's a possibility as Alexander Balderas and company come around this time by Balderas, Guecci, Thurston, all of which going to be lined up down the backstretch. Kaloff and Schugel slowly fading back. Another close battle, Beaver Serrano and Xander McKinney alongside Corey Lyles. As we previously mentioned, it's the fight for 6th right now. Serrano got his damage repaired after his initial incident, and now he's with the leaders again, fighting to get up there just outside the top 5 as he comes across the stripe for lap number 52. She's still going to be on that back bumper, and that's one thing he has been relentless about. No matter where Balderas opts to block him, he's going to find a way to find that room, get in the rhythm, and maybe keep up there in the draft. Been a very impressive job so far for Guecci as he's tried to keep himself exactly where he needs to be, but still not finding the opportunity to make the passes when they matter. As it stands, though, Vinny's going to stay in 2nd, and Alexander Balderas is set to lead us all over again. Balderas going to come through and at the line lead us 53 laps in out of 75. 23 laps remaining this time through for Balderas, and next time by we're going to crank it up with the best cameras on the iRacing platform, courtesy of our friends at TrackCams22.com. For iRacing broadcasters and sim racing photographers, TrackCams22.com is your one-stop shop to upgrading your sim racing game with the best cameras available for iRacing. Over 100 car and track packs are available through their website at TrackCams22.com. You can also check by going to Facebook.com/TrackCams. With 22 laps to go, we're going to crank it up this time by with iRacing's best camera provider, TrackCams22.com. .18 laps remain. Balderas on the high side, James Thurston right down low, and the surging number 96 takes the race lead. Balderas, who's led the majority of this race so far, all of a sudden being hounded. River Page in the mix as well, and all of a sudden indeed, the number 95 who led the majority of this race, seeing not one, but two drivers looking for the throne. Thurston makes him a shit take and bobbles back. Take a look at his slide. further and further away from the number 95. River Page goes down low, and when there's one, there's two. Now Thurston's going to be further back, but River Page takes the lead, and at the line, the number 95 is going to be in second and losing time quickly. Pit stop cycle is on the way with 17 laps remaining, and with Balderas fading back, the driver who's been oh so dominant to start this one, it's trouble unlike anything he's seen previously. A driver, of course, in his position, it's going to sting if it gets away from him, but he can't lose hope now, even though Thurston is coming right back up. There's James Thurston looking to make it as he goes down the back straightaway, and it looks like he's looking low already, eyeing the bottom side, trying to maybe make that pass, and already the Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsport duo are making things work. River Page gets through, however, that's only going to put him on the lead lap here. That being said, it's Thurston looking to get back for the overall race lead. Take a look at Thurston on board. As you can see, he's going to lunge it deep right up to the top, and he won't let that mistake get away from him. Of course, he's going to keep him in his back pocket, learning experience, and now is when it matters the most. 60 laps in at a 75. It's the final stretch in Fontana, looking close and looking low. There goes the number 96, Thurston, looking for the lead. Balderas going to be nowhere in sight on the back end. He's going to look for a completely different lane. Has a run. Can he go down low? He's going to look at it. Doesn't look like it's going to be possible. River Page, he was a lap machine that got through, but James Thurston takes the race lead for good, and now Balderas going to look to take it right back. 15 laps to go, and Thurston going to be up in front. He's got Balderas now behind him. Aaron Schugel's going to be in third, and this battle is going to come down to two drivers. Balderas and Thurston look to be the drivers to beat, as Xander McKinney remains there in third. How about the number 96? Thurston, who didn't show signs of life until 10 laps to go, started clawing in and more made it through. Balderas has had enough. He'll come down to pit road this time by, and with him, he's going to take Aaron Schugel. Two drivers coming in at once, and you'll see more drivers opting to stay out on the track. Well, Balderas, he will give in. Not much more he can do there with the set he had. 28 laps and worn, and just like that, he's going to let the lead fall in the hands of Thurston, and Beaver Serrano's now second, as Xander McKinney, the lap machine, is set to cycle himself right back out. What a difference it is for James Thurston now. He has the race lead, but the question is, can he cycle out with it? Balderas is in, been on pit road for about 30 seconds now, and his pit stop only started about 8 seconds ago, so maybe there's an opportunity here for Balderas to get on with it. As you can see, 4 tires and fuel, he's going to immediately put the power back down and get back on the way. James Thurston at the same time just entered pit road, so he's going to need to put down the best lap possible. Balderas and Thurston, the fight rages on. At 14 laps left, Daniel Mosteller just took the race lead. He will now find himself up in front. At the end of the day, though, Mosteller doesn't look to be in leading contention as Balderas comes down a very crowded back straightaway. And worst of all for Balderas, the driver who is overall leading this cycle is going to be River Page, who is now a total of 6 seconds out, and it's a big question as to whether or not it's going to work out for good. Now it looks like it's going to be Beaver Serrano, who fell down and in. James Thurston still going to be up ahead right now, but he's being cycled back big time. Thurston, no signs of life until pretty late, and he's falling much further behind Balderas, and the number 96 is now going to find himself a total of about 5 seconds off of Balderas, if not more. That might be Thurston's night. Balderas might be back for the taking, but Vincent Guecci going to keep him honest, and you can see there Vinny looking down on the low side. 12 laps to go, and the fight is back on between Guecci and Balderas. 95 goes up to the high side once again. He'll look top. Vincent Guecci looks down low, and the gap between the two drivers, 4 1/1000ths of a second. They'll remain neck and neck, and at the stripe, Balderas going to be slightly beat out, but that's not the lap that matters. They've still got more than 10 laps to go, but the time is flying here, and they're coming up to more drivers they need to pass in order to fight for the win. Take a look at Michael Deitch here. How are they going to make it by with no room? It looks like they're going to be squeezed, and Michael Deitch goes middle, so he'll let himself go to the middle of the fight and try not to get in the middle of the battle himself, but it might impact one driver more than the other. Balderas takes it down deep. Guecci has to run high, so Vinny's going to lose a bit there, there, but he dives with a huge cut down to the bottom with enough momentum to maybe drop down to the apron. It looks like he eyes it, looks twice, doesn't keep it there. Side by side the line with 10 laps to go this time by. Vincent Guecci now going to have the net race lead. Corey Lyles, Xander McKinney, and River Page, the drivers they have to catch up to. River about 5 seconds up. Balderas still side by side here with Guecci, and Vinny's not going to make it any easier, but it looks like for now dominance is still in the hand of the number 95. Alexander Balderas might not have it all said and done just yet, but these two are getting very, very close, maybe a bit too close for comfort. Time and time once more. 10 laps to go indeed. Now coming down to the single digits up next. Daniel Mosteller has chosen not to go down a pit road, and he keeps himself up in front. Is he going to go through this time by? It looks like the signal's in. There goes Mosteller. The Flopomobile is down and in indeed. Will Shack is going to stay out, and for the second race in a row, he's going to lead at least one lap. Your Daytona winner back out in front. He has to go down a pit road. So does Brandon Dugan. So two more drivers have to make a mandatory pit stops for the remainder of this race. Page does not have to go down once again. McKinney does not have to go down. Lyles doesn't have to go down either. Alexander Balderas and Vincent Guecci are in the good no matter what. They don't have to go down a pit road, and they're running much younger sets of Goodyear rubber. As it stands, 9 laps to go. Alexander Balderas is going to be up there with Corey Lyles, and it looks like right now these two drivers who are fighting for the lead having a bit more trouble getting by Lyles than previously intended, and that's going to be bad news if it holds them up deeply, because Shaq now comes down to pit road. Brandon Dugan, he's going to be the leader, but River Page still has just enough room to get by, whereas Xander McKinney might look for the lead in his own right. So this is another battle for the lead with 7 laps to go, even though it looks like these two drivers might not be the biggest battle for the taking. It's still big positions they got to worry about here, as Xander McKinney looks high, clearly quicker, and he's now going to try to take the race lead. Xander McKinney, the rookie this season, and the number 40, taking it up to the high side, and they're beating and banging. A little bit of contact once, a little bit of contact twice, going into turn 3 and 4. It looks like they can't give any more, and it is going to be now. Xander up top. Alexander Balderas just got by Corey Lyles, and that might be the kiss of death for Vincent Guecci's chances. Look how far back he is now. That number 09 is about a half second back, if not more, while Balderas is now being hounded by Corey Lyles. Corey's not making it any easier. River Page is going to be the next driver in the way here for the number 95. Balderas in hot pursuit, trying to take back spot after spot after spot. River Page, though, never an easy driver to pass, is going to be the next man to look out for with 7 laps to go. Rolling down the back straightaway, the 24's got position. The 95 will surge down and in quickly, and as such, then there was one. Xander McKinney, Alexander Balderas, due to go to battle. Brandon Dugan just went down a pit road, and it's now Xander McKinney who has to hold off the hard-charging number 95 for 6 more laps. Balderas coming through in the number 95, 70 laps of racing. He's been the odds-on quickest driver all night long. McKinney puts himself in the wall, and just like that, Balderas takes the lead, and he easily makes it by. Corey Lyles is still going to be there, though, and he's within a quarter of a second. He knocks McKinney into the wall, and again, Xander McKinney, not once but twice makes contact, and he's going to lose so much time there. He's a stopgap that's going to slow down both Page and Guecci. River's going to drop and nearly lose it. He'll stay straight though, and now Corey Lyles, the second place driver with 5 laps remaining. If he has anything left, it's now all in his court to maybe make a move. Brandon Dugan going to be on pit road's exit. He gets back on the way. He'll be a total of 1 lap down, it seems now, as he fades back further and further. And now for Balderas, 5 laps remain. He's now looking to coast up in front. Corey Lyles looking to give it all he has, and that number 56 has to see if there's anything left. It's going to be a very slim margin for him to get going and push for the win. Corey Lyles up in front here in the 2nd spot, but not enough, as Vincent Guecci is going to be running in the 4th position, looking to get by Xander McKinney. These two drivers are battling each other fiercely, but Guecci has not stopped looking for an opportunity. Hasn't found it. He'll go down to the bottom side. Clean track down low, not so much up top, and you'll see they're side by side again for the final spot in the podium. And with 4 laps to go, the question is, do we stay green? Will there be a race-altering yellow? And now I'm sure those are all the thoughts that are running in Alexander Balderas' mind. The 95, for the very first time, looks to be poised to win in the IORA Cup Series, and it's been a long-awaited moment here in this league's existence. You see there, Thurston, he's going to be with Devins Baker. It's going to be up to the top side. Thurston takes it. He's still got Devins Baker right there down low. Side by side the line. This is a fight for ninth. Not going to be involving the leading drivers. However, as you look up ahead, there you have it. Balderas, the gap, it's wider than ever before, and the more time he puts into this track, the more of a lead he gets. Now it looks like a clear advantage up in front for Balderas, and he should be good to go when all is said and done. However, it's not a guarantee. You see how close the battles are there on back. There's going to be Lyles. In addition, Aaron Schugel now looking for a spot or two. Maybe he's going to find something unexpected. And he comes around, this time by a little bit further back. And Vincent Guecci still losing it here. Corey Lyles going to be in third. Aaron Schugel going to be there in second. But with 2 to go, Alexander Balderas, as far away as he's been all throughout the night. 2 laps remain. The number 95 out ahead, the dominant driver all night long, who's led over 35 laps to this point. And now he'll only have to lead 1 more when he comes across the start-finish line. Alexander Balderas going to set it straight. Get through the final portion of the front straightaway. 1 lap to go. White flag flies for the number 95. River Page fighting now with the number 66 of Beaver Serrano, and all seems well for the number 95 up in front. Balderas, a driver who's competed in IORA since 2021, who's waited oh so long for an opportunity to come through on the final lap. He's seen the trials, he's seen the tribulation, and has attempted just about every race in this series existence. A veteran who's been looking from top to bottom for a chance at the checkered flag, and as he comes through turns 3 and 4 one final time, takes it through the start finish line. Alexander Balderas is an IORA Cup Series winner. Checkered flag out for the number 95, first career win, and at long last, the 95 team finds victory lane. Aaron Schugel, first career podium. It's a second place finish. Corey Lyles rebounds nicely to get to third at the checkered flag, and Balderas, who's waited oh so long, finds a way and finds the win. Checkered flag is out. New race winner on IORA, and a driver who's waited just about the longest of every one of which. Page, Thurston, damage at the end, and as the checkered flag flies, an early celebration, and there we have it. Balderas burning down the house. How about that? New race winner, burning it down with River Page, and as such, tonight's celebration for the victory has concluded. Take a look at our race result. We'll get your top 3 in momentarily, and here we go as we'll take a look at your result from Fontana, California. Alexander Balderas will win from Aaron Schugel, 1 second behind. Then from there, going to be Corey Lyles third. Fourth is going to be Vincent Guecci. Fifth is Henry Kaloff, and the 6th spot goes to Xander McKinney. Then from there, 7th is going to be Beaver Serrano. 8th is River Page. 9th spot is James Thurston, and 10th to round it out in the top 10, Devins Baker. 11th is Daniel Mosteller, and it's going to be 8th, of course, 12th. Michael Deitch, and then 13th, Braxton Whitaker. Casey Bent's going to be 14th, and Will Shack 15th, and 16th spot then goes to Brandon Dugan with Julian Alton, 17th, Antonio Mancini, 18th. Josh Berry did not start this event, and as such, the checkered flag has flown. We'll get the thoughts from all of your top 3 finishers tonight, as we will first, of course, talk to the man who gets it done, Alexander Balderas. How about a victory that we've been waiting to see for quite some time? He's, of course, been a driver waiting for almost longer than anyone in this series, and finally getting it done when it matters the most. Balderas with the checkered flag, and we're going to get a word from your race winner right about now. And dragging him in, of course, the celebration still ongoing. At long last, the 95 team pulls through, and in dominant fashion here in Fontana. Alexander Balderas, you were, of course, the quickest driver from end to end, and you get it done. Victory here in Auto Club. How does it feel with a first career victory?
Well, David, here to tell you, it's good to be here at Victory Lane, and it's good to be a win that can't really be considered Mickey. You know, Auto Club, while a drafting track, it's a total talent track. If you're not fast enough, if you don't run the right strategy, you're in the back. And I would say we ran the perfect strategy. Led a good chunk of the last half of the race, won under green flag pit stops. I mean, to prove yourself in a league, what more can you ask for?
And the perfect statement race, as you mentioned. We've seen you so long, slowly but surely building up to this moment. So what was it about tonight that led you here with such a great opportunity to burst onto the scene and give us such a performance?
Well, knowing that I really like the Xfinity car, been running it a lot of leagues over the past few weeks, getting real accustomed to it, and learning the ins and outs is definitely a way to help us there. But I think in the end, coming here to Fontana, one of my favorite tracks, learning what the line was before the race and learning kind of how to exploit the seams really was a key point there as well. And what really kind of saved us in the end is we were battling with Thurston coming to the green flag pit stop. I heard Aaron Schugel behind me was pitting, so I had to jump down and pit when he did, because I didn't want him to have the undercut, because it's about a second or so faster a lap. And what really saved me there in the end, though, was Jim. He missed his pit stall. He slid through it when he came down pit road, and he didn't service his car at an angle. And so I really had to push those last 15 laps. But, man, I'll tell you, David, this is going to be a win that I'll keep in the books forever.
And we know how long this one's been sitting on the table as an opportunity, and tell you this much, momentum. It's a big deal to finally get this weight off your shoulders, getting that victory, proving you can. What's it going to take next, of course, with the schedule in mind? The championship's still up for grabs. We saw first-time winner last week in Will Shack, who pulled off the unthinkable, got through that huge wreck. And now, while it was a dominant victory, this one almost came out of thin air itself. Everyone is still looking for the points lead, and now it's a huge scramble. And up next, of course, we got a fair share of familiar tracks, and the one that we're going to next in particular, it's going to be Phoenix.
I think, actually, with this race, I take the points lead because I know I finished, I think, at least 9th last week, and then, the week before, and then now I finished first, and Will won the other week, and now he finishes 15th. So if my math is correct, I believe I've taken the points lead.
And taking the points lead with the victory that matters, Alexander Balderas, the checkered flag is yours tonight in Auto Club. Is there anyone else you'd like to shout after tonight's performance?
Honestly, I'd like to say that, this race was really run great. They kind of got their wrecking out in the beginning and everything, but honestly, tonight's race was really good. Admins were correct on most of the things they had to be correct on. There wasn't any, calls to mix up the race. It was just a pure run-out race. It was really great. That's all I could say.
And a great race for this 95 team, especially Alexander Balderas. This win is yours, and as such, it's one, of course, you mentioned, you'll never forget. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, David.
Now, Balderas on the move. We got to talk to a driver that made big gains tonight for a first career podium, Aaron Schugel. How about this number 91 team making it through and getting up to the second spot? And early on to this driver's career here in IORA, looking good so far. Second place finish, Aaron Schugel, career best already, and only one spot shy of that, of course, elusive first victory, but you're getting close very quickly here in IORA. How's it feeling with the podium already off your back?
It's feeling really good. I mean, going into this race, I thought Auto Club was a terrible track for me. I mean, I really hate how multi-groove it is. You know, how, one lane is better for one thing, the other is better for another. I've never liked that type of racing. But I guess it works in our favor. We got obliterated on lap 1, but we made a pretty quick recovery. The first half of the race, we couldn't really break the top 10, but just right before and after that pit stop, I figured out how the car drove, and just before that pit stop, I was passing people left and right, and after that pit stop, I was passing people left and right. I exited the pits, I think it was like 14th, and by the end, I was in second. I think if I had I don't know, maybe 10 more laps, I probably could have gotten Balderas. I mean, he was like 2-3 seconds in front, and by the time we got to the line, he was like 1 second ahead. So, one spot short kind of sucks, but I'm just really happy that I was able to recover that well. Happy for my teammate. I believe he got third. Yeah, I got third. JFR in total. Some bad stuff were gonna happen, in a couple months, but hopefully this, 2-3 will hopefully, say, hey, this team can stay around.
And it's a great statement race for the team, as you mentioned, pulling through with dual podiums, and we saw some collaboration there at the very end to hold off for those top 3 spots. Strategy, green flag racing. We saw it for the majority of this one. How was it like getting accustomed to that long stint, the longest we've seen so far this season?
Honestly, so these cars drive a little weird. They're really good on short run, and they're absolutely terrible on medium run. I mean, everyone was getting really tight, slapping the wall. I think a lot of people were also struggling with long run, but long run I was able to to slow down a bit more in the corners and get to the bottom a bit more than everyone else. I was able to pass people that way, but otherwise, it drove pretty good. And yeah, pretty fast Mastercraft safety Chevrolet.
And quick enough for a very first top 3, Aaron Schugel, second place finish tonight. Is there anyone else you'd like to shout out after this race?
Yeah, Corey Lyles, my teammate, Trevor Huff, Spencer Morris, they both couldn't make it. ORW, they stuck with me through my karting career, and now they stuck with me through this entire iRacing season. And next race, I'm going to be running a special scheme for them. Other than that, I can't really think of anyone. Oh, Jackson F, owner of my team. Yeah.
Just like that, Aaron Schugel going to pull through with a double podium for the team, and he's going to be the one who leads the charge. Second place finish here in Auto Club. Thank you for your time.
Yep, you too, man.
And with Schugel on the way, one more driver to speak to, and it's a driver we haven't seen on the podium for over a season and a half now. But for Corey Lyles to, of course, offset the madness at Daytona, a strong run here tonight, third place with convincing speed all throughout. You had yourself a great night to look back on here, and you saw Aaron Schugel right ahead of you, both you guys pulling together for some great finishes. How's it feeling here with a podium spot in Fontana?
Yeah, this gives a little bit of a momentum. I wasn't expecting this good of a run early on or at all. I'm kind of happy with that.
And it's a great way, of course, to get that momentum going. Might have been unexpected, but tonight, you definitely had it going on. And I'll tell you this much, the big thing that we saw was that late race charge, and when it came down to the final 30-odd laps, you were slowly but surely climbing up there, and with the cycle, you got through, quick pit stop, and it's all that kept you up there in the top 3. Defense till the very end, and you made it on the podium by only 69 thousandths of a second. So what was it like holding on there in the final stretch?
I mean, it wasn't too hard. I knew that Vincent had a little bit of right side damage, so I felt like I had enough speed. I had no tires at the end of that, but I feel like I had enough speed to hold him off to at least get P3. I knew I needed to let my teammate by there. He had a lot more tires than I did. But yeah.
Even with that being said, letting off one spot, you kept yourself in the podium, and it's good to have this points build up. Looking forward to what is next. Phoenix, definitely a different style of track, much shorter, and it's very much unique in its own way. You think there's a chance to keep the good runs going?
Oh yeah, I love Phoenix. I love it in the trucks. I love it in the Indycar. I love Phoenix, and I feel like I have a strong run there.
Looks like there's a lot of optimism keeping things going for this 56 team. Corey Lyles, you round out the top 3. Anyone else you'd like to thank?
JFR, Jackson Fooey, HSF, Wawa, Best Bro. I think that's about it.
And there we have it. Corey Lyles getting it done with a podium finish tonight. Thank you for your time.
Yep, no problem.
Now, with Lyles on the move, we've got a few other broadcasts here on FTN tonight, the next of which starts in about a half hour's time. For Alexander Balderas, he'll be making the transition from Victory Lane to the broadcast booth. He'll be with me tonight in the Highline Racing League's coverage from Atlanta Motor Speedway, so we're going to be making the move over very shortly. Lyles comes home third, Aaron Schugel is second, and Alexander Balderas gets his first career victory in Fontana, the second consecutive first-time winner, and maybe the streak will keep on going into next week as we head to the Phoenix Raceway for race number 3 here in the IORA Cup Series, and we'd love to have you there. You're watching for the Auto Club Speedway, the Return of the Artist 150, a 75-mile feature in Fontana, and as always, exclusive coverage of the IORA Cup Series is provided to you exclusively indeed on FTN. I've been David Kreutz, your commentator and producer for tonight's event, so if you enjoyed this one, be sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is immensely appreciated. We thank you all for watching tonight's event here in the IORA Cup Series, and we hope you have a fantastic night. Stay with us on the broadcast link as we'll be automatically redirecting you to the Highline Racing League and their event in Atlanta.